Hey nerds, this is the first episode of what I'm calling There and Back Again, my journey through MMOs, and the MMO I'm starting with is Guild Wars 2. Now, the only other games I've played that I have to compare it with are World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV, so you'll hear a bit of that in this video, but this first impression is going to be like no other, and I'm going to be doing first impressions of every aspect of the game. With that in mind, this video is about character creation, the tutorial, and the beginning of the human story. So enjoy, and if you like the content, make sure to check the links down below, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. First off, character creation for Guild Wars is absolutely adorable. I chose a human just to go with something basic, but everyone knows I'm an altaholic, and every single race in Guild Wars has its own starting area and starting story, so I'll probably make a video on every single starting area for every single race and possibly try out every single class. However, I decided to go with a warrior just for this specific video to get right into gameplay. Or at least that was the idea, because I wasn't expecting to have so many options for character creation, nor was I expecting all of the outfits for the classes to be so cute. Well, except Engineer. I'm not exactly sure why my character was fully clothed when I looked at Engineer. But anyway, one of the things that I really liked was that you could make your character either thick or thin. And it wasn't like you just had a slider for your weight. You actually could choose between different body styles. It was anatomically correct, or at least on the human side. And the big thing for me was that I could make my butt bigger and my boobs bigger, but still have abs. Comparatively, the other games that I've played, like I said before, are WoW and Final Fantasy XIV. Now, in WoW, you would choose a race, and then pretty much just choose your color, your wrinkles, have 10 choices for your hair, some scars, some eye colors, and maybe face paint. Whereas in Final Fantasy XIV, you have a lot more choices from hair, hair color, eye color, and different categories for noses, eyebrows, things like that. However, in Final Fantasy XIV, it's mainly just options. There are no sliders. You might have 5 different faces that you can choose, and then from those 5 different faces you chose, you could choose 5 different noses. For Guild Wars, you had sliders for everything. Eyebrow arch, eyebrow width, nose, if your nose is upturned, lips, cheekbones, facial structure, jaws, hair, boobs, like I mentioned, which was a really serious thing for me. But it was really neat, and it was body styles that you would just see on people outside and all facial structures that you would see IRL, which was really cool. The other thing that I really enjoyed was being able to have certain traits that you would choose for your character as well. And from doing the starting area, including the tutorial, those traits actually came up in dialogue and cute little cinematics, which was cool. Now, in WoW, you can choose whether or not you're Horde or Alliance, but mainly that just gives you the option of which race you can be, because races are locked to their faction. After that, there isn't as much world PvP, even though that's something that they want to fix, but you don't really have a reason to be any faction. By the end of an expansion, the story for WoW is normally that the factions have to work together anyway to achieve whatever issue they need to overcome. In Final Fantasy XIV, you can pick your patron deity, you can pick the year and day you were born, and while it mattered in 1.0 and I believe 2.0 up until Heaven's Ward, it doesn't actually matter now and is only used for RP purposes. So the idea that you choose something in character creation and it comes up later is absolutely amazing. The amount of hairstyles is fantastic, and the dye system. I was actually a little perturbed that I saw so many classes with such cute skimpy outfits when I first chose what I decided that I wanted to play as. And then I chose warrior, and I'm wearing this like half chainmail, half leather something or other. But the dye system makes it so it doesn't just dye a portion of the item or the whole item, but you can dye the trim different colors, the bodice different colors, and the stitching sometimes different colors, which is really, really neat, and I absolutely adored. So character creation for me for Guild Wars 2, definitely an A+. I absolutely love it, and it left a very good impression.
The human race once ruled Tyria. Now, we struggle to hold our ground. We've been defeated, driven back, and broken. But we will not surrender. So many nations have fallen. Only Kryta still stands. Our faith is strong, despite the silence of the six gods. With courage, we'll make our stand in divinity's reach. The city is my home. I was born to common folk, just one among many. My friends and I don't seek attention or glory. It's hard enough making ends meet. But I believe we can still shape a brighter world out of the ashes of the past. Today, I stepped outside of divinity's reach to see the world. But when I arrived in Shaymor, the town was under siege by centaurs. Innocent villagers are in danger. Someone has to help. We can't go on living our lives in fear. I have to fight. I have to make a stand. This is my story.
Immediately, we saw the choices we had made in character creation in the cinematic. It wasn't just a, here's a race, here's the backstory for your race, and here's where you're starting. A lot of things had to do with the choices that you made, which is awesome and very immersive. I'm not sure if it's because I wasn't streaming this, which made the first experience even better, because I could actually speak to every NPC and not worry about if I was entertaining people. So I may be biased, but it was a lot of fun talking to every single NPC and having every NPC have dialogue. Whether or not I was trying to get them out of their area so that they would go to safety, or if I was trying to get their backstory, it was actually really neat. And compared to having just a regular text box in World of Warcraft or having unvoiced dialogue in Final Fantasy XIV, it was kind of a breath of fresh air. And one of the things that I also really liked was you're just kind of thrown into the thick of things. It wasn't just, here's a tutorial, here's a weapon, here's your first attack, go hit something 5 times and come back. Nor was it, we are running out of food and we need you to slay 5 boar to retrieve 1 piece of meat for each boar and bring it back. Yay. No, it was actually, we are being attacked by something, you need to come quick, and you need to figure out how battle works, or else we're kind of effed over, which was really neat. It was more of a new player experience rather than a tutorial, and I felt like I was already part of the world, which is absolutely beautiful, by the way. I cut out a lot of it, but there was a lot of me just looking around at the scenery, the bridge that we see already that has the flowers hanging off. And I have a really, really nice build for a PC, and I had to turn things down for when I was actually recording this gameplay because everything was so detailed. Another thing I really liked is that when you actually take part in what's supposed to be the tutorial, and you fight people who are attacking and trying to infiltrate your town, there's other players. Now, in WoW or 14, you might see people running around the main city or doing the same quest, and you can tag the same creature to get the same loot. But here it was like you were fighting together for the same cause. So people were actually just out in the world, and it was more of an event, which was really cool. And all in all, I had a really great new player experience, and I can definitely commend ArenaNet for this gameplay. The only thing I thought was a little odd was the movement. Now again, the only movement I have to compare to is WoW, which I've always thought was really fluid, even though the characters were cartoony and boxy. But in 14, I actually had to change the movement to Legacy, because if you keep it on normal, your character actually walks backwards rather than runs, and just kind of backpedals. And then on top of that, there is an option where you auto-face your target whenever you use an ability. So I do have that turned on, but in WoW, obviously I don't have that. So in Guild Wars, there's no auto-face. You have to dodge. The jumping is a little bit different, and then on top of that, you have to have the target in front of you to actually hit it. If you move too much, which I'm one of those people who likes to strafe back and forth for absolutely no reason at all, you won't hit the target, and anything that you shoot from a gun or a bow is a projectile, and you have to have the target not obstructed and, again, have it facing in front of you for the projectile to hit it. It's just something I'll have to get used to, and it's not something that's actually deterring me from the game. And I actually cannot wait to get further into the story for the humans, and I'm really excited to see what's going on with the gods and the dragons, and hopefully you guys had a lot of fun seeing a little bit of this gameplay, and you'll enjoy the next video too, where we hopefully get to level 10, I think, maybe. See you guys at the next one.
What should I do now?
Fresh air and exercise are the best medicine. The goddess Dwayna helped you. Perhaps you could help others?
Thanks, I will. And thanks for taking such good care of me.